What if the next Spyro game didn't have to just be a solo adventure? For years, we've been waiting for Spyro 4 or whatever it will be called to come out. But a recent piece of Xbox news sparked a creative idea that I just can't get out of my head. A full classic style Spyro adventure that we all know and love with an optional co-op experience. Today, we are going to design what that experience could be, exploring how two dragons could share an adventure and what that could mean for the Spyro franchise. Let's talk about it! Whoa! What's up guys, Canadian Guy here, and I am back with a video that I promised that I would make. In my last video, or previous video, which I will link at the end of this one, we talked about how a Spyro game could be one of the unannounced cross-platform titles that Xbox has slated for 2026. Also, and I want to make this very clear, this will not be the core and fundamental aspect of the game, just something that could be played on the side of those who are interested. I'm not suggesting that the next Spyro game should be the next It Takes Two or Split Fiction. No, it's not what I'm saying. So with that out of the way, let's dive right in. First things first, let's set the stage. When I say co-op, I'm not talking about something like The Legend of Spyro Dawn of the Dragon. Although a fan favorite of the Legend fanbase and having its legitimate high points, if I have to spend 20 minutes trying to maneuver two dragons attached to a chain, I will go ballistic. What we're talking about is a true but evolved classic Spyro adventure. The model that makes the most sense is what I'm calling the double dragon model. Two dragons sharing the same adventure with different perspectives. Now, who would this second dragon be? Well, I think most people's knee-jerk reaction would be Cynder, a fan favorite character. However, while it seems obvious, this also carries a risk. Cynder has an established backstory in the story of the Legend of Spyro series. Reintroducing her would require a new origin story overall. The reintroduction may alienate the fans of the original Legend trilogy. Likewise, many people who are not fans of the original Legend of Spyro games may strongly dislike the idea of Cynder being here in the first place. Toys for Bob would really have to walk a thin line to make sure that the original fans of Cynder are happy with her new origin story, while also trying to appease the fans of the popular original trilogy that may have a disinterest in her. Toys for Bob overall may see this as too risky, but also may want to just bring in a brand new dragon with a completely blank slate for them to create something brand new. This would allow them to make whatever compelling character that they want that would best fit with the story that they want to tell in the Spyro series. Now, for the sake of this video, and just so that it's clear, we will refer to the second dragon as Cynder. It just makes everything easy, but imagine her with a new backstory. Now, if you don't like it, just imagine her as a completely different dragon. Just call her Puff. The story would be simple but effective. A mysterious new portal suddenly activates in the Artisan homeworld. A young dragon named Cynder, or Puff, tumbles through, exhausted and scared. She explains that she comes from a hidden realm of dragons who are currently enslaved by a council of evil warlocks. Spyro, being the hero that he is, agrees to help her, and together they journey back through the portal to go and save her world. Simple, clean, and a perfect setup for the game. This also makes it so if you wanted to go through the whole game in single player without ever touching the co-op mode, you're not really missing anything. But it keeps the door open for a player 2 to join in on the fun. Cynder would have the exact same core abilities as Spyro: charge, glide, and flame, but with slight tweaks that make her more unique. Maybe she's lighter and sneakier, so her charge is a little faster, but also doesn't deal as much damage. Or her glide is a bit floatier, and maybe instead of a hover, she could have an aerial dash that is also a blink, allowing her to navigate different kinds of obstacles. This creates a balanced experience where both players feel powerful, but are better suited for different areas of the game. Well, how would this double dragon concept actually work? Well, in single player mode, there would be levels that are specifically co-op potential levels. These levels would be single player levels, but would work similarly to the alternate timeline levels in Crash Bandicoot 4: It's About Time. Essentially, these levels take place alongside the main adventure, where Crash's companions help clear the path for him and Coco, like Tana foiling Embryo's sneak attack, or Dingodile triggering a cannon that blows open a gate. For Spyro 4, at the start of these co-op potential levels, you'll play as Spyro, but then partway through, the perspective shifts over to Cynder to tackle a section designed specifically for her, which would end with it assisting Spyro in his adventure and resuming back to him. There also could be a few levels that are dedicated Cynder levels, where it switches to the Spyro partway through, so he can help her on her adventure. But in co-op mode, both players are in their respective levels at the same time, both helping each other progress to the next legs of their journey. This design of co-op potential levels could also extend to many other aspects of the game as well. Boss fights, for instance, could have a regular single player mode, but also a two-player mode where players could fight an alternative battle. Imagine a giant warlock that one dragon has to attack and distract from the front, while the other takes out power crystals on its back. And to keep it challenging, the boss's health pool would naturally increase when you have two players. The boss in two-player mode could also have some new tricks up its sleeve so that you can't just steamroll it. We're essentially turning bosses into mini raid fights for two players. Now, Spyro is no stranger to minigames and side missions, but imagine some classic Spyro side missions, but done with a friend. Now, let me clarify what I mean by minigames and side missions. While some of these missions are classic and add to the overall game, others just feel like filler or don't really feel like Spyro. Minigames or side missions should feel like almost an extension of Spyro's core moveset, not like a completely different game. We also don't need 4 odd minigames per level. I would rather see 1 awesome minigame per level versus 4 mediocre ones. But seeing the return of Speedway levels is a perfect side mission and a no-brainer. But in co-op mode, those Speedways could be reimagined as head-to-head aerial races. Think Mario Kart, but in the sky. Or, you know, CTR in the sky. You also can have collaborative mini games and side missions, like a co-op egg thief chase where one player chases the thief and the other player tries to cut it off, or escorting a slow-moving NPC with enemies trying to attack them and you and your partner have to defend them. These would be perfect for quick, fun sessions and could leverage the crossplay feature to have community-wide events, encouraging more players to play and try the game. The Spyro community is incredibly dedicated, and events like these would be a massive hit, especially if we have to wait a long time for the next title. Now, let's talk about skins and flair. A huge part of modern gaming is customization, and a co-op Spyro would be a perfect place to show it off. Each dragon, Spyro and Cynder, could have their own individual unlockable skins and accessories. Now let me clarify, these skins would be unlocked through the single player mode and not through microtransactions. But let's take it one step further. What if you could customize your homeworlds? After you finish levels in a homeworld, you could also unlock new decorative items for it, like fountains, statues, different colored grass, seasons, specific day or nighttime cycles, you name it. This customization wouldn't be a shop like the character skins. It would be tied to your progress. This gives players a tangible visual reward for their completionist efforts, which of course we all know Spyro fans love completing these games at 100%. It also can be tied to certain challenges, like defeating specific bosses in a certain amount of time or earning tough achievements. In single player mode, it's something nice to see every time you return to your home world, spending time and building it to see how you see fit. But if you're a co-op player, when your friend joins your game and your world to start a session to play games together, whether it's online or couch co-op, they appear in your customized world, or your friends' customized world if you're going going there, and everyone could see the unique flair that you have put on display. It gives players a reason to keep coming back long after the main story of the game and gives us incentives to 100% it. Additionally, with Xbox Game Pass, it also gives more of an incentive to subscribers to try the game out with their friends who are already playing it. If you already have Game Pass, there's literally no risk to try it out. And while some of the very casual crowd may come to just try the co-op with friends, they may stay for the entire single player experience. And if for some reason the co-op mode blows up and becomes a huge gigantic hit, sometimes even bigger than the single player mode, the foundations are laid for it to be expanded upon, with new minigames, cosmetics, or even new realms could be added over time to keep the game fresh and exciting. Kind of like Astrobot's bonus levels and challenges. And if the multiplayer mode just flops and doesn't go anywhere, it's not the end of the world, because the co-op wouldn't be the main focus of the game, just a side dish. Not to mention, Toys for Bob has a history with co-op, from all the Skylanders games to pass and play mode in Crash Bandicoot 4. They have the experience and the interest to make a mode like this. Combining that with Xbox's desire and push for community-driven cross-platform games, a new Spyro with a cross-platform co-op mode just makes sense. It's an evolution for the series that feels both modern and true to its roots. Now, some of you might be wondering, why am I putting so much time and effort into this idea? Well, I'll tell you, and I'll admit, there is a selfish desire here. I want to play a co-op Spyro game with my kids. I have 4 kids, and they all adore watching me play Spyro. My oldest son was playing and beating Spyro levels in Spyro before he was even 6, and it took me back to when I was his age, playing Spyro with my older sister. And I'm almost certain that all of you who are now approaching 30 or may even be past that have similar memories just like me. And I want to make those memories with my kids as well. And having a co-op mode in Spyro would just make it all the sweeter. So for me, this whole idea comes down to sharing the magic of Spyro with my kids, just like many of us when we experienced the game for the first time. But I also want to hear your story. What's your favorite memory of playing a game, doesn't have to be Spyro, with a friend or family member? Let me know in the comment section below, and I would love to read them. And if you're wondering why we'll even have a possibility to see a new Spyro in 2026, that will also come to PlayStation. You can check out this video right here, where I break down the evidence from a recent development from Xbox. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Bye-bye!